Cinesmack contains spoilers of the spoiling type. If you don't want your spoilers spoiled, please turn back now. Otherwise, enjoy the show!
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
Ladies and gentlemen! Welcome to the main event! This is Cinesmack! And the winner is...
Hello, Cinesmacketeers, and welcome to bout number 65 of the podcast about films by filmmakers. I am your host, Mike Keeler. Joining me tonight is our panel of award-winning judges. First, filmmaker and owner of Cheshire Moon Films, Tom Haggis.
I hate you. I don't
like... hi, Tom.
Oh, hey, how's it going? Oh, hi, Mike. I'm not thrilled that we watched these.
Second, filmmaker and owner of One Genome Short Productions, Gabriel Rowald.
Oh, hi, Mike.
Oh, hi, Gabe. Third, our first special guest judge, actor and filmmaker, John Fryer.
Hi, Mike.
Oh, hi, John.
Hi. Yeah.
She's dead.
They're all dead.
She's dead?
She's dead. And last but not least, our second special guest judge for this month, editor and sound designer, Brian R. Johnson.
I don't use toilet paper.
Oh, hi, Brian. Would you guys like to go play football?
Let's play football.
I think we're actually standing a little too close for the game that they had going on.
Yeah.
So. let's pull it in, guys.
Yeah. We're not close enough. If you can't tell, we're actually all in the same room together. This is going to be fun. We can actually all see each other, and we can. Tom doesn't like anyone looking at him.
Stop looking at me. Stop.
Just like what happened with our silent movie episode, but this should be a good time. Let's go ahead and poke the monkey, find out what we're talking about. I'm guessing you guys know.
Ladies and gentlemen, bad eggs and black sheep, welcome to the main event! Tonight, two cult classics will clash in a tussle to find out who gets tarred and feathered in Tinseltown! In the first quarter from 2013, directed by James Nguyen. Starring Alan Ball, Whitney Moore, and Thomas Favaloro. Birdemic 2, The Resurrection. In the second quarter from 2003, directed by Tommy Wiseau. Starring Tommy Wiseau, Juliette Daniel, and Greg Sestero. The Room!
We always try to throw in, it's been a while since we've done some really bad films, and I think we made up for it with this episode. These movies are horrifically bad, and I have to say, it felt like Birdemic 2. Well, you know what? I'll save it for when we're talking about it. Let's move on to our first round, which is writing.
Okay, wow. Writing. Yeah. I think we can summarize this up pretty quickly. The writing for both of these was ridiculously terrible. It's even hard to say that there was any writing, especially for Birdemic 2. I mean, there was a little bit of writing, but
Exterior.
It was it was not good, and then the dialogue was just miserable. It's the kind of dialogue that I just absolutely hate. It's like dialogue that's telling you what you're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I don't recall. I don't think the dialogue for The Room was much better. Maybe a little bit, but that was more what they're feeling, as opposed to what you're seeing. You know, they're telling you what they're feeling, kind of thing. Dialogue was just terrible in both. And Birdemic doesn't really. There's no real story to it. I mean, we have a general idea of what's happening. You know, like there are birds attacking for some reason. It's probably global warming. And
just like the first one.
Yeah, and they just hammer that home, and there's no real story to it. I don't know. I don't. Do you guys have anything?
I found the writing in the room to actually be quite solid. I thought that the story seemed to make a whole lot of sense. The plot moved from point to point, and there's a lot of foreshadowing about Johnny's eventual demise at the end. So it wasn't too much. There wasn't a big twist at the end or anything like that. But I mean, the writing in the room was really top notch. Parenthetical compared to Birdemic.
We should say that we should
Right.
say here that Tommy Wiseau is his brother-in-law.
Yeah, there should be
Yeah.
a disclaimer.
Yeah, I got a random PayPal payment this afternoon from Tommy Wiseau to talk up his movie. So, yeah, it was amazing compared to Birdemic 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Birdemic 2, there was a lot of repetition on what was being said. I mean, just over and over again. It's like you don't need to say it so many times.
Oh yeah, like she's dead.
Yeah,
they kept checking.
There were
I couldn't believe
3 dead women in that locker room scene, and the line was said 7 or 8 times. It's like,
She's dead.
yeah, we got
She's
it.
dead.
She's
They're
dead.
dead. They're all dead.
They just
dead.
wanted to show their breasts. Like that's the whole reason for that line of dialogue.
But let's not blame the writers, though. I mean, on paper, that probably looked pretty solid. I mean,
Writers, there was more than one.
in there, with the writer, James
Was
Wynn,
it?
right?
Yeah, the
So
director.
I feel like some of it you can't really blame on the writing, because I mean, imagine in his head when he was writing it, he's like, all right, and then he's gonna say she's dead, and I mean that was just with no direction at all. I did
Right.
that, and the actors, clearly the fault was with the actors in Birdemic. So
I just figured that he had "She's Dead" copied and it just kept pasting. Like character name, paste. Character name, paste.
Oh,
So like the screenplay was like a school assignment. He got in trouble. He was like, "All right, I'm gonna need 10,000 words on global warming."
Yeah, we need to.
Here we go.
Yeah, we need to make it 120 pages. So.
Another thing I wanted to bring up was in writing. What about the mother in the room? They just totally glossed over the fact that she had breast cancer.
Oh, in the room. Yeah.
Well, the test came back, and I definitely have breast cancer. And then it's not really spoken of again.
Yeah, you really shouldn't leave him.
And then she, at one point, Lisa is defending him, and then right after she defends him, she's like, "But I don't love him anymore. I'm leaving him. He's a horrible person." It's like, wait, you just said that he was a good guy,
And she has
then
one-
you just tell someone, "Oh, he hit me."
Yeah.
And he has a good job.
Yeah,
He does.
Yeah.
He has a really good job.
And
the
you're not going to
flower
be
shop
able to
owner
take care
likes
of
him?
yourself.
And tight buttocks.
She had the scene with Mark where she was like, "I don't care. I'm just going to do whatever I want."
Mm-hmm.
What do you think I should do? Like, that was literally on the page. They actually had...
That was
like,
there.
It was like, all right,
Yeah.
so I do what I want. Let's ask for some advice.
And then was it Peter? Peter became a favorite of ours while we were
I love
watching it.
Peter because he was the one person on the entire movie where you could actually see the movie falling apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
He's like,
falls
"This is-"
down in a football scene. He goes, "That's it, I'm done." And I'm like, I don't think that was in the script. I think that actor has left the set, and he did.
But there's that part in there. He's like, so Peter, how's psychology, or how's it being a psychologist? Or he brings up psychology, and then a couple pieces of dialogue later, he goes, stop playing psychologist with us. And it's like, you just stated that he's a psychologist. Oh man.
And what was the pervy kid's name?
Denny.
Denny.
Oh,
Yeah.
Denny is perfect.
Yeah.
But we could say that
that's
The
some
Grand
yeah.
Slam.
Yeah.
who writes that into a script where it's like, can I watch you guys?
I like to watch you guys.
What?
And
now I
they didn't
get
even
the
act like-
"can I kiss you" thing. It's just a young guy wanting, but she was such a whore. She should have kissed him. She should have just like totally made out with him. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, hey, we should write in these other two characters. And they go in and she gives him a blowjob right on the couch. And you're like, who are these two people?
And then the drug dealer guy. Where did that storyline end up? You know, it's like
nowhere.
There's this whole thing where this drug dealer's gonna like kill Benny.
Oh, that's right. It never came back, did it?
No,
the mother's.
They took him down the stairs and presumably handed him over to the cops, and then that was that.
And the mother asked Denny if he's selling drugs. It's like, no, he owes him money. It's like the whole thing is just convoluted.
It's so bad. They were like, oh, we need Denny to have a problem. And Tommy was like, okay, drug dealer on the roof.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Confronts Denny.
Yeah, Mike, do how you imagine the screenplay.
Well, Birdemic is exterior, space, space, space. Interior, space, space, space. Exterior, space, space, space.
Walking.
Interior, space, space. Oh, I forgot walking. Hold on. Walking.
Yeah,
Space,
walking
space,
on Hollywood
space.
Boulevard.
She's dead.
There was
She's dead.
5 minutes worth of walking to the intro in Birdemic 2.
That was the
guy
longest titles ever.
It was like, oh
That's
my god!
It was
like the
literally
original.
5 minutes.
Remember?
Yeah, it
They
was.
had
I timed it. It's
They
like-
had like 5 minutes of driving during the opening credits.
In the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
As I watched the opening of Birdemic 2, I was actually singing out loud "Staying Alive."
That's about right. At least that would.
It's exactly.
wardrobe.
Yeah. Well, at least something was happening in that. You know.
Oh my God!
I
Yeah,
got my
no,
recommendation.
Yeah. Writing all around just fantastically miserable.
Do you guys want to say anything else about writing? I know
We're still on writing?
Yeah.
Oh my god! I thought this was overall.
No.
I kind of mentioned writing and directing, so I thought we're just
Wishful.
doing this, and we're like, go get a pizza.
Wishful thinking.
Well, we could record us walking for 5 minutes to start the show. All right, let's go to Gabe.
Oh my god! I have to pick like one, the better of the two.
Yeah.
Is that the idea? We're
Yeah.
voting for the one we like better.
The one you would watch again if you had a gun to your head.
That's a
just for
horrible
writing,
way to do
though,
it.
right?
Yes, just for writing.
Yeah. Well, I have to say I agree with Tom that the room, the writing is fantastic, in relation to Birdemic 2.
So you're going The Room?
The Room.
All right. John?
I'd have to say The Room also. Didn't care for either movie, but the writing, is better.
Okay. Tom?
I mean, compared to the stuff that I saw on the rest area wall on my way here, I mean, neither of these are very good. But I guess I'm gonna give it to Birdemic because I really feel the actors dropped the ball. I think the writing was actually quite good, and I think everyone forgot their lines. And I'm gonna give James Wen the benefit of the doubt based
Okay.
on his prior work.
All right.
I would say that the Birdemic 2 writing is the barbed penis of Satan up my pooper, and the Room writing is a lubricated finger of a proctologist up my pooper.
Okay. So The Room.
So the Room wins.
You gotta
Depends on
clarify.
what you're into.
Just to make sure.
I'd like to point out that vote had better writing in it than either. Well done. Well done.
Yeah. Okay. So I was trying to find some trivia.
Why would you do that?
On Birdemic 2. And I wanted to share this because I think it's hilarious. There's one piece of trivia for Birdemic 2. And that is voted number 1 most unwatchable movie by a film club at OCSA. That's it.
What's OCSA?
I have no idea. Moving on. Let's see. I had it and now I lost it. Oh hi. The phrase oh hi is spoken 9 times and oh hey 7 times in The Room.
I guess I didn't make that distinction.
That's all?
Really?
Yeah.
It seemed like a lot more
felt
than
like
9
more,
and 7.
didn't it?
Yeah.
I think we've said it more
'Cause
than that since we started.
We have.
Every scene he was in, he always said, oh, hi, or oh, hey, or...
The phrases future wife and future husband are spoken thrice and once, respectively, but neither fiance nor fiance. Fiancé
Fiancé.
is, yeah. Well, they have it down here, fiancé with like 2 E's and then fiancé.
They're both pronounced fiance.
Okay.
Did you get the other one, the French one?
Oh no, what?
That apparently Tommy Wiseau really hates French, and he told everybody there's no French in this movie. And one of the reasons he won't use the word fiance in the movie
Is
For
because
some
it's
reason,
French?
Yeah, and at one point, one of the characters, I think it was Greg Sestero, the guy that plays Mark, said one of his lines in French, and Tommy went freaking ballistic and ran across and tackled him. He was like, no French!
Which is why the Parisians will never see Le Room.
That's true. And nothing between the second sex scene and the birthday party has any actual effect on the plot. So there's
that's
some
like
good
beginning to
writing
end.
for you.
Well, that's hardly the writer's fault.
That had to be editing.
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
definitely it. Well, the reels got mixed up.
So let's move on to our second round, which is acting.
Okay, I would say that the best acting in either movie came from the dead people in Birdemic 2. Just laying there not moving. That was decently believable compared to anything else. The Room, the acting in The Room, I think it would be best if Tommy, how do you pronounce his last name? Wiseau.
A French name.
If Tommy Wiseau would have shot himself in the first scene and he wouldn't have been in the rest of the movie, it would have been better.
Yeah.
Because he was the worst actor in that movie.
And he seemed very bored.
Yes, I mean
The whole time he's just...
or like stoned. He eyes almost all the way closed, no facial expression, and pretty much the same tone out of all of his lines, except when he got mad or something, and it just a couple octaves higher, and that was it.
I like
laugh.
his
laugh.
Tearing me apart, Lisa.
Yeah.
Like, I love how he says that and the look on his face. I'm like, that's gold.
You know he watched Rebel Without a Cause the night before.
Yeah. But let's talk about his laugh.
Oh, I love his laugh. I still don't have it as a ringtone on my phone. I want my every message to be
Like every uncomfortable thing that was said to him, he just kind of laughed.
Just laugh, yeah. Like, I wrote that.
I wrote it on paper, and then they said it, and then I shot it, and people are gonna pay me to see it.
And that's where he was wrong.
I thought Lisa was good in some parts of the film, but then other parts it was
You mean
just
her
like,
breasts?
Well, her breasts are, yeah, they're nice. But I mean, I thought she was good in certain scenes of the film, but
I agree. I mean, you're right.
Yeah,
she was good in the scene she wasn't in.
and then Birdemic 2,
My God.
I can't pick out any acting.
No, hang on.
What?
You can't blame that on the actors. It's bad writing.
Oh, we're doing this.
If they didn't have a good script to work, if they had a good script to work with, they'd have a shot at it. But my God, that thing was a mess.
No, Dr. Jones was the best actor.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it was
Actually, he was.
He said
On
Dr.
the
Jones.
bridge,
I thought,
the guy-
Indy's there?
The guy on the bridge.
Oh,
Right?
you mean the guy that goes? And not very many people know this, but they were with the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? You kept that in the movie?
I actually thought that the best acting in Birdemic 2 was the scene where the two women were auditioning. Their on-camera auditions within the movie were the best acting of the whole thing.
That could be.
It was like,
That very well could be.
The Neanderthals were good.
yeah.
They're pretty believable, I thought.
Yeah. Like what? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll save that for
I
directing.
don't understand what's going on.
I thought the birds were really good in it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
The birds, yes.
I mean, and the acting. I just want to talk real quick. We've used guns in prop guns in films in the past, and it's. I remember the first time we did it. We were showing people, and they would just like act like it had a recoil of a cannon, and then now if we have a gun, I make them watch YouTube clips of people firing that actual gun, so they know what it looks like, which is something that none of these actors watched in Birdemic 2, because when you look at them firing the handgun, they are just like waving it around like it's like it's going to do something.
But all of the shots came out at like the sound effects were right on. Like, boom,
yeah.
boom, boom. How they do that?
And the
God, so
unlimited
amazing.
bullets. I like the unlimited bullets.
Yeah.
Unlimited
Never had
bullets.
reload ones.
And a bullet that can split a bird in half, clean down
Yeah.
the center.
Yes. Yes. And a bird that can take what, 12 bullets and not die?
Well, it's global warming.
Right. Right. They're super
They,
birds.
they were
Don't
they were
challenge the science.
Well, those were the prehistoric birds, like
Oh,
Dr.
right.
Jones was talking about. Yeah,
And you
because
can't.
everything was preserved in the tar. I mean, did you guys not watch this movie? Jeez.
And you can't really blame the birds. That one's on the director. Sorry, I got to set this up for later.
My favorite acting piece in Birdemic 2 is the Asian guy that gets killed at the end, and he walks around the fence and then is standing there at the poolside, still alive, and then falls into the pool.
Yeah.
And there's no blood in the pool.
No blood. Yeah.
And no one says anything. They just stare at him. And I'm like, that's the end.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that instead of like falling down and trying to stop the bleeding, he just starts walking and walks around a fence.
He was clearly in shock.
What was it? The CGI ambulance?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I mean, you're on set, and you're in a situation where you're like, all right, well, we did a lot. We don't got the ambulance. Something fell through. We don't have the ambulance, and you problem solve it and you figure it out. I don't know what James Wen. What is his life must be like? Like, honey, we're out of butter. Well, I'll go find a cow, I guess. I mean, like, how does he problem solve in his life if his is like, well, we'll just CGI the ambulance.
Right.
So it makes no sense to me whatsoever. None of it did.
Before we talk about CGI, I mean, there's the whole shot that lingers on with the jellyfish.
I was just going to say, the jellyfish, we don't have a problem with that now.
The jellyfish was
that
great.
Is like,
jellyfish was great.
I was
acting.
there. The swimming scene.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I was
in
like,
the moment.
I was losing my breath
Right.
on being underwater for so long.
But what about? I think that was his same friend, the guy who sings at the at the dance club. He did the song in the first one, and
Right.
they actually,
Which
they actually played
Yeah,
at the end of
it's
the
in
movie.
the credits. Yeah.
But I thought his acting was all right as a performer.
Yeah.
right.
I'm running out of good things to say about actors.
Yeah, when we started this podcast, I think we, and I've said this probably over and over, but we kind of talked about how we wanted to do this, where we wanted to take questionable movies and find not only criticize them but also find the good things in them,
Right.
because there's almost always something worthwhile.
Right.
They were.
I think we outkicked our coverage on this one.
What's that?
I think we outkicked our coverage on this one.
Well, maybe these may be kind of difficult, but yeah, I mean, did we find anything in the acting at all that we liked in either of these two movies? Was there any performance that, however brief? I liked your idea on the whole people being dead.
The zombies.
They're dead.
And, yeah.
Yeah, the zombies.
I love the
yeah.
high fives where they actually did like a freeze frame.
I
For
like.
those that can't see, I was actually holding my hand up in a freeze frame motion.
Yeah, I don't think.
I thought the 27 shots around San Francisco, the people
In the room,
seemed
right.
very natural
Yeah.
in the room. Yeah, I thought. I mean, they looked like they were just
So you
regular
would
people.
know and not forget.
Yeah, because
that
I
they're in
kept,
San
we would
Francisco.
get 30 seconds into a scene, and I go, "What city does this take place in again?" And I'd have to
Yeah.
wait for the scene to end, and then like Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
hang
San
on,
Francisco.
Let
I
me
forgot.
Google that. Figure
Trolley
out
car.
what city it's in.
Yeah.
There it is. So,
Yeah, I had the same with Birdemic too. Actually, like, what city are we in? Because here we are walking down Hollywood Boulevard. Where is that? Yeah, I had the same thing. Yeah.
All right. There's. I can't say. Well, okay. Maybe the female lead in Birdemic 2. She had some good qualities. But once again, we can blame the writer for that and the director. But I thought she did some good stuff during the first half of the film, if you could hear her, which we will cover at another time. But yeah, let's put it to a vote. I think we've run out of options. John?
Acting, I'd have to go with The Room.
All right. Tom?
Boy, I really want to blame the writers for Birdemic. But I'm going to give it to The Room because I'm not 100% sure that Tommy Wiseau actually is like that. I think he might have been acting.
No, I think he's like that.
Did he write the movie around himself?
I don't know.
I hate it when they do that.
I don't know if you guys looked at his list of places he's studied acting, and I'm like, dude, you should get a refund. I think there's 6 different places he studied acting.
Reputable? Or are you saying
I don't know if they're reputable.
The Reno, Nevada chapter of...
Yeah, that's something kind of close to it.
The Trump School of Acting. Trump University of Acting.
Mr. Johnson.
I see Tommy Wiseau as a contemporary Orson Welles. I mean, he is the complete package. He writes, he directs, he acts, he has vision. So
he doesn't actually do any of those things. I mean, if we had a dictionary, I'd
that's
look it
right.
up.
Was I actually supposed to watch these movies?
You were the smart one.
Because there's actually 1 or 2 people that seem like maybe they've been in a couple commercials in The Room. The acting has to go to The Room. There was not one redeeming acting quality
Right.
in Birdemic 2 that I could see. But I'm also wondering if this was intentional now. If they were deliberately dumbing it down.
After Birdemic 1, you mean?
Yeah, because Birdemic 1 was a hit because it was so bad. So now 2, here we are talking about 2.
Yeah.
But it's just you think they would have even been accidentally good at least once.
That's true.
Just by accident.
Right.
Even the people that were dead there, you could see them blinking and stuff. So it's even they weren't good.
How hard is it to stumble into a good line read? I mean, come on.
Right.
Like you said, the zombies were the most realistic thing. So.
All right, Gabe?
Yeah, I have to go with The Room as well for marginally better acting than Birdemic.
Yeah,
I just want to point out one thing on the acting. When the female swimmer got stung by the jellyfish and then ran up onto the shore, how she ran through a few people that weren't part of the movie, and they were going what the hell's going on? And then she ran up to the actors. Those people did the best acting in the film.
You mean all the people with the blurred faces?
Oh, I love that.
They blurred out everything in every exterior scene. Yeah. Somehow or another, the lawyer got a hold of it, and it's what do you mean? You can't show that sign.
See, and
that sign, that guy. That's me. You can't show me.
So I found that scary. It was are these aliens? Are these mutants? What are these people with no face?
Well, speaking of aliens, I watched an online reviewer who was basically saying that Tommy might be an alien. And he just has this idea that Americans play football, they wear tuxedos, and they eat at Denny's. So it's I thought that's the most logical explanation. Yeah.
I like that. All right. Greg Sestero stated in his book, The Disaster Artist, that Tommy Wiseau took 32 takes to say the lines, "It's not true. I did not hit her. It's bullshit. I did not." Oh, hi, Mark.
Well, that was actually excellent, what you just read right there.
Wiseau sometimes needed cue cards to help him with his lines.
Wait,
That he
what?
wrote.
Hi.
hi.
Or is it oh hey this time or oh hi?
According to Juliette Danielle, when Tommy Wiseau said the line, "In a few minutes, bitch," everyone on the set began laughing at him. Wiseau came out of the bathroom and demanded to know what was so funny. Oh, this is so
That 32
good.
times, it never occurred to him once that, why can't I say this line right? It never occurred to him maybe no one talks like this, and the line you wrote is shit.
Right,
Like,
right.
no, it's got to be my delivery.
Well, his delivery in the flower shop scene was the biggest winner. It's all that ADR dialogue that they kind of crammed
the
in there where
ADR.
there wasn't any dialogue
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't recognize you. You're my favorite customer.
Lady at the flower shop was great. Loved her.
The dog was good.
Hi, doggy.
The dog,
Yeah, the
yeah,
dog was
the
excellent.
dog takes the cake.
Absolutely.
Let's see. I'm trying to find. I've got a lot of them here. I'm trying to.
We really don't need to know more about these movies, just so you know. I just don't want you to put too much effort into something I'm going to forget in 30 seconds.
The film's editor tried to convince Tommy Wiseau to cut the shot of his naked ass from the movie on the grounds that the sight of it scared his wife.
That's what bothered her?
Yeah. All right, let's move on to directing.
Yay! So, I kind of made a mental list while I was watching Birdemic 2 of all the things that James Wen has never done. I'm pretty sure James Wen has never seen a movie before. I'm pretty sure he's never been to the beach, because when you go to the beach, you face the water. I mean, I've never been to a beach, and I've been to lots of beaches where people face the wrong way. I don't think he's ever ridden in an ambulance. He's never fought zombies. I'm pretty sure he's never seen a bird. Yeah. And then Tommy Wiseau, I'm pretty sure he's seen movies, because under the 3 feet of shit in his movie, there's like, I don't want to call them like nods to movies, and you're like, that might be a reference to a famous movie. I don't know. The sex scenes were just so awful. I've moved out of my bedroom at home. I don't even sleep with my wife anymore after seeing this movie. I don't even want to touch her after seeing it.
No naval sex for you?
No. Well, yeah. Or hip sex, or
I applaud him for giving the belly button some attention. Girls dig that. Obviously, at least
it used to be an Audi.
The guy's raiding the naval base. Let him do it. He's fine. Hey! So both of these are really, really awful. But I mean, I just, some of the things with James Wen, the biggest problem with James Wen stuff is the problems that he ran into. There are easy fixes for those. A microphone for one. I mean, start there.
Yeah.
Start with a microphone.
Well, I think they had an onboard microphone because you could see it during their sex scene.
Yeah.
Right out of the top right corner,
Yeah,
and then you could see the sound guy in the
Yeah,
mirror.
There's people.
I didn't
you can
see
see
it,
people
but-
around the edges and
gear.
cables hanging down, and just like
And gear right on the other side of them, like
Yeah.
a slider just sitting there, and I'm like, wait a minute, and I like took my mouse, I'm like, there's that, and what's that guy doing there?
So I guess both of them are pretty awful, and I feel like we've done this before where we've chastised a director who had a lot of money and didn't know how to spend it.
Right.
It's clearly that Tommy Wiseau had a lot more money than James Wen, but I don't know. I mean, James Wen's movie is such a mess. It's such a mess. I'm liable to give it to Birdemic because Tommy Wiseau burned $6 million on this, and that's just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, and I'm trying to figure out, what he spent it on. Was it the construction of the set? Was it the use
Renting
of a
2
giant
cameras.
green screen, using 2 cameras, video and 35 millimeter film?
That's where his money went.
Right.
Film processing.
Because
Wow.
they sure didn't do it for locations.
$6 million.
Yeah.
There have been movies nominated for Best Picture in the last 10 years that didn't cost that much.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But I do have to say the lighting in the room I really like the lighting that they have in the room. But you can tell it's a set. Mm-hmm. They just set the lighting and shot.
Yeah.
They didn't have to really change anything.
I'm sure there was a line item for naval condoms. I mean, you don't want that. You don't want that stuff in there. I mean, you'll be picking out for a week.
Well, and wasn't it that the actress didn't want to film another sex scene, so that's why he reused?
Yeah, they basically showed the same sex scene again.
I can't believe she didn't want to do another sex scene with him.
Well, I know, and especially now that I know
Did
pillow
you see
fighting
that ass?
equals foreplay.
Right.
Who knew?
Right.
Denny did.
Yeah. Denny.
One of the things that I noticed about Birdemic 2, and actually it was kind of the same thing with Birdemic, is that most of the things that other directors would cut out comprised most of the movie. So it's all like transitional stuff. Mm-hmm. Like we talked before, there's literally 5 minutes of walking at the very beginning of the movie. And I don't care if there's 5 minutes of walking, but it's just walking.
Yeah.
There's nothing else happening.
No.
He's not walking by anything that's happening. He's not walking to anywhere that anything happens, really. There's so many scenes in Birdemic that are like lengthy transitions. That they're walking through the museum. They're walking on the beach. There's the scene where the boat comes in, and you're like, why are we watching this boat? It doesn't. They're not even on the boat. It's just a shot of a boat coming in, and it's taking too long. And so, like, the stuff that most directors would cut out that we don't need to see is what Birdemic is made of.
I think he did that to bump up the running time.
Well, that's the only explanation. I mean,
They pride themselves, just like the Native Americans. No part of the buffalo goes to waste. No part of this production goes to waste. There are no deleted scenes.
oh right, nothing nothing hit the cutting room
Not
floor.
one deleted scene.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, so there's no outtakes.
Nope.
Yeah, there's no special features.
The whole thing is the audition.
No, right. Well, and how many times do we have to see that the name of the restaurant that he's waiting for everyone to show up?
Yeah.
And then,
That's a
The happy endings.
And I love the restaurant
The happy
where you
endings.
hear all these patrons and they're eating and dining, yet it's completely empty. There's nobody in there.
there's no one at all.
Yeah.
And then he orders 2 glasses with his beer, and then all of a sudden, magically, there's 3 glasses that are filled.
Well, she was a potentially good actress and also a great waitress.
Apparently.
she
But
saw
she still
she-
got fired. Did she get fired or did she quit? Because you
I
remember
think
she's leaving.
She was leaving. I think
Okay.
I did not hear that she got fired.
Okay.
You
No,
would be
she
perfect
quit
for my
because
film.
the auditions weren't going her way, so she said
Yeah.
goodbye to Hollywood. And
But he
Suddenly
convinced
just-
her with his moving speech to
Yeah.
stay.
And let's also talk about what Dr. Jones was brought up. The fact that Dr. Jones is on one end of the bridge and everyone else is on the other end of the bridge. And where did the kid come from? The kid never shows up again.
Yeah,
Why
who
is
was
the
the
kid
kid?
following him around?
And what did he
Why
say?
is it-
What was it that he said? Someone else was supposed to be here, but it got sick from the food that somebody made. Do you remember that line?
Yeah.
What was that? It was the weirdest thing. It's like
I know.
it's like there was another character in the script that they didn't have an actor for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's simply, as opposed to just simply cutting them out, they had to come
Right.
up with some explanation for a character that we
Right.
never even knew existed. It was weird.
yeah,
And then during the auditions, when they go back to the office, he looks back and the girl's still there shutting the door, and it's like, oh, well, couldn't you guys just reshoot that so he could wait? But no, they just shot it. You see the actor, he's like, she's supposed to be here because I'm supposed to say a line. And then they go into the office. It's daytime outside, but it's nighttime when they're looking through the glass.
I have to
It's-
confess, I nodded off about 50% of Birdemic.
We don't blame you. Let's see, what else? In the chair in the office.
Oh, and
Like
they sat
when he-
down.
yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
It's like, couldn't you have just reshot that? Or, told him
WD-40?
not to? Yeah.
How is it the one sound that makes it through? I mean, obviously,
You can't hear a damn thing.
everything has been relayed in there. At
Right.
some point, the editor's like, all right, I got an ADR this, ADR that. Let's leave the chair squeak.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
little-
we'll keep
That's
it.
good.
or when what was it the waitress Danielle took the phone call from the guy making the movie, and she goes outside to take the phone,
Like-
and it's like it's dubbed, and you can clearly see
Yeah.
it's dubbed.
And it takes her 4 minutes to walk to where she's going to talk. And there's no one in the bar.
Now, who edited Birdemic 2? Was it the director? As
Oh, was it
well?
edited? I couldn't tell.
I thought it was the kid from Baby Geniuses. He's trying to get knocked off the top spot on the bottom 100.
Well, and there's some theories out there that they made this bad on purpose. You brought it up, and I know I had discussed it with you earlier in the week, Brian, but the fact that people think that that he saw that Birdemic was kind of a hit because it was bad, so he went out and tried to make an even worse film. But my feeling is that Birdemic had a little bit of heart. Like, they were trying to do something. In this, it just feels like, oh, we're rehashing old stuff.
Which made it even worse.
Right.
Which I did.
Right. Like they just, there was no like, well, what should we have them do this time? Oh, let's follow the same exact thing that happened to this character last time, because the one guy is from the first one.
Yeah.
What I did enjoy about Birdemic 2 was the fact that the parts where they were obviously trying to be funny, like with the cavemen fornicating,
Yeah.
or the I don't use toilet paper line from the hippie. It's like they were thinking like, okay, this is really going to be funny now. So that actually was funny because that was clearly a failure.
Well, and right, and what about the hippies having light stands out there with soft boxes?
Oh yeah,
what was that about?
Well,
was
because
that,
they're
they were
part of a
supposed to be-
reality
yeah.
TV show. But then I'm like, where's the
crew?
gear?
Yeah.
Where's the camera? Where's everything else? Why are they just out here? And then that flashback of everything on fire and them running was priceless. Oh my god!
there was some moderately decent tracking with that digital fire,
Yeah.
except for they would actually end before the scene did.
Right. And then
the fire ran out of fuel.
It did, yeah. What else? Oh, the Universal backlot.
Yeah.
Like, what the? Really?
Amity, welcome to Amityville.
Yeah. And then all these people like, help, help, help. And they're like just firing their guns, into nothing and running towards them. And everyone's dying. Like there's no, they didn't rescue anyone, did they?
No, they didn't
No,
save a single person.
everybody died.
No, and how many times do they have to? They were like the most hopeful people ever, because, well, they would see somebody and they'd be like, "Oh, we need to stop and help them," or maybe there's somebody in there we can help. And then every time, like, they would fail miserably in helping people, but they kept trying.
And then let's not forget the establishing shots where you see people walking around, then it turns red, and those people are still walking around, and there's no one running because it's raining blood.
Or like when they've been attacked by the birds and they get that RV and they're driving around town and it's like, oh, let's take a shortcut through here and here's the zombies. Strangely, there were transitional scenes there where there were cars, there were people driving on the street,
Yes.
and there was
Yeah.
clearly nothing going on. Like these people were not panicked at all.
And then the guy saying, oh, well, they won't attack this zoo because, we're green. And then as they leave, the zoo gets attacked.
Well, they were only attacking those people who were not. They were not green and non-emitting.
No, stop. And then the cavemen walking down the street. I mean, come on.
It was almost as if the filmmakers didn't have permits for location shots.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what I was thinking.
Almost like it was, but that wouldn't be the case because
Oh,
if
no.
you're going to film in Hollywood, you
They
have
were
to.
pros. Yeah.
You have to have permits. Oh,
No, see,
man.
my theory on Birdemic 2 is the gentleman that was the filmmaker, and he said his career was washed up because of the bad film he made. He actually did some bad drugs, bath salts, LSD, whatever it was, and this whole thing was a bad trip. That's why you had other people out there when it started raining red. They didn't notice anything because this was all in his head. And the one key that gives it away is when they went to the hotel for gas. Why would you get gas from a hotel? But they were able to get cans of Coke out of a Pepsi machine. That right there gives it
And
away.
then-
It's always a bad trip.
And the very
Don't
next
forget
shot,
the noises that they make, too.
Yeah.
When you're pushing the button for a soda machine, it sounds like a 1950s computer.
and then the very next shot, nobody was drinking Coca-Cola.
No.
Not a single can of Coca-Cola was in the
And
next shot.
and then when the one Asian guy dies in the pool and stuff, and then the birds fly away.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
So that
that was their mission, was just to kill him all along, and
Apparently.
right, some secondary character who we didn't even really know who he was.
Yes.
He dies. Oh, movie's over.
And I mean, the cabin. Let's talk about the cabin where they find the hottie at.
Oh,
the
yeah.
one hottie.
Anybody in there? Anybody in there? Anybody in there?
Nope.
Nobody's in there. Hello. It's like,
What? Like,
a pair of tits just walked out that door. Hang on, I think a girl's attached. They're still coming. There's a girl attached.
and the fact that the warehouse was supposed to be a studio, and right next door they're shooting some slasher flick. And I love watching that because when the birds attack, the actors are acting, and then the camera person reacts like 3 beats too late. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. There's birds around me.
You know, if they were going to do it that bad, instead of using CG birds, they should have just used practical, some sort of stuffed bird things as effects and had them swing in and attack. And I mean, really.
Yeah. And let's not forget in these movies, you know, what's his name? Damn it, I forgot his name. The director. James Nguyen. When? Okay. You always have to have a time where everyone celebrates and clap their hands and high fives, which, you know,
The freeze
Brian
frame.
kind of talked. But, I mean, there's a scene where he's talking to the producers, and that scene goes on forever. Forever. Like, okay, let's move the camera to the right. Let's move it to the left. Let's move it to the right. Let's move it to the left. Okay, have him say something. Move it to the right. Move it to the left. Okay, have him say something. Just, oh.
And we mustn't forget the convertible driving shot where
Oh,
the
yeah.
exterior shots, sunglasses, green screen shot, no sunglasses.
That cracked me up. Like, when it cut to that, I lost my shit. I'm like, this is fantastic.
If there actually was a real editor on this project, he had an ulcer by the time this was
Oh,
over.
yeah.
There's just
Well,
no way to save
And
it.
what about when, during the sex scene, she lays down like 4 times?
Yeah.
Like, there's a cut, she lays down. There's another cut, she lays down again. There's another cut, she lays down again. I'm like, really? There's no one paying attention to continuity at all? And I love the fact how the guy was like leaning up against the wall, you know, and she's like, do you like what you see? And he's like,
Sure.
yeah.
Well, the continuity person was the
guess.
location securing person,
Oh,
and then they missed a
They
couple
missed
days.
it. Yeah, they were sick. All right. Let's, the room, direction-wise, did you have to make Denny so creepy? Like, really? The kid is a creeper.
Very creepy.
An absolute creeper. And we already talked about, what's his name? The psychologist, Tom. That he doesn't show back up in
Peter?
the film.
Peter?
Yeah, Peter, he leaves. And then all of a sudden on the rooftop, there's another, or no, doesn't he come into the house and you're like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
What's he doing here? And then he shows up on the roof again. Like, who is this guy? and they keep talking about the wedding, but then they show a church and the guys are in tuxes, but there's nothing talking about them being married.
Yeah.
They're not wearing rings. They're
Well, and apparently they weren't married yet.
Yeah,
No,
we get
but
10 minutes
that-
into the end of the movie, and they're just like, "What about the wedding?" I'm like, "I thought we had the fucking wedding."
Yeah.
You sure?
No,
they were in
Tuxes, we saw church.
They were just trying on the tuxedos, apparently.
Oh yeah, rehearsal dinner a
play-
month
Yeah,
beforehand.
yeah,
That makes
rehearsal
sense.
dinner.
to play football.
Yeah.
Like, what? And
Yeah.
and then the party. And the party just, it felt like the party was going to be in a couple hours. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's like, no, wait, is it a couple days
It's
from
a
now?
couple weeks,
Wait,
yeah.
Couple
oh,
weeks.
it's a couple weeks now.
Yeah,
It just kept getting farther and farther away. And
and then the party's like inside the apartment. It's just like some people over,
Yeah.
and then like, well, let's go outside. It's nice out. Plus, we've got food, we got lights, we got music, we got a ton of shit up on the roof. Let's go do that for 5 minutes. And they're like, nah, this sucks. Let's go back to the apartment. And they're like, what is going on with this party?
No,
Right.
well, it was Lisa. She was going, well, because of the
Mark.
interaction, inside.
Yeah.
And she goes, let's go outside and get some fresh air. And then everybody
Yeah.
goes outside. And then there's that interaction out there, and she gets pissed. Well, let's go inside. There's cake. Make up your damn mind.
Yeah, it's nice out. Look at these lights. Look at the setup up here. It's nice. Go get the cake and bring it up here.
yeah, just don't slip on the semen stain on the set.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's dry by now. Because that was like 4 weeks before the party.
Oh, well, right.
Well, that's a different stairway too, because
Oh,
they
yeah.
always had to go out
They
that front
go
door
out,
to
yeah.
go up
Yeah.
on the to the roof.
That's true.
Yeah,
All
I think we have to agree that the cinematography is halfway decent in the room. It was
Right.
actually surprisingly good to me.
Right.
I
except
expected it
for
to be
a-
absolutely terrible.
There are a few shots out of focus.
Yeah, the focus is a little soft in a
Right.
few spots, and it's not perfect. But what was really annoying was the editing. In those scenes, like you talked about, the love scenes going on forever and ever and ever. It's like, do we really have to use every shot
That's
of the
because
sex
Tommy
scene?
Wiseau didn't want to cut any of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she did have a nice rack, so
Yeah.
I get that. But yeah, nothing's happening. The story is not moving at all during those scenes. And the one on the stairs. Okay, here we go. And then there's a love scene every 5 minutes, and then like 20 minutes later, we get back to the story.
Yeah, but I think in the love scenes, during playback, he was more fascinated with looking at his own ass than her.
Probably.
So we have to keep the whole scene because
right. Because
my
he
left
looks
butt
good.
cheek looks really good.
Yeah,
you know why?
man, I'm looking ripped in this scene.
I've been working out.
Do you remember that scene from Office Space where they're just like, what would you do if you had $1 million? Like, 2 girls at once, man. I think Tommy Wiseau had that conversation once. He goes, what would you do with $6 million? Fuck a girl in the navel.
yeah.
and
I think if
make
I
a movie about
Right
it.
in the belly button.
I think if I had $6 million, a girl let me do that to her. And then everything else is just window dressing.
Right.
Some of it literally window dressing.
And at least we figured out, like when we were watching it, that was actually a sculpture with the water and not a window because
It's raining, it's not raining.
They never establish it in the room at all.
So it's a water feature.
Right, it's a water feature. It's not actually raining outside. All right, Tom, let's vote.
I'm giving it to Birdemic because Tommy Wiseau blew $6 million to fuck a girl in the navel.
All right, Brian.
The room has to get it.
All right, Gabe.
I see Tom's point on the blowing $6 million, but
Don't butt. Just agree with it and move on.
no, I have to go with the room.
No butt, Gabe. Navel.
No but.
Tommy's butt.
John.
I'd have to go with the room too.
All right. The room.
The Room too?
Oh,
there's a second one.
There's a sequel?
The room also. I don't want to see a sequel to that.
It'll be the room.
Well, I don't
2.
know. It might even be better because
Tommy
Wiseau isn't in it.
Yeah, but it'll be the room 2, the resurrection.
That's where he comes back.
Yeah, he's
Res
he's a
erection.
zombie. What'd you call it?
Res erection.
Res erection. That's
He's a
nice.
Tommy,
I like that.
Oh, hi, Lisa. Oh, no, it's Zombie Tommy. It's Tommy.
All
With
right.
a little trickle of blood in the corner of his mouth.
For The Room, filming took over 6 months. In that time, 2 cinematographers, along with their crews, resigned, and 3 actors left, being either recast or replaced with a completely different character.
Holy cow.
Well, there was an amazing amount of consistency if they went through a couple of like camera crews and all that. And a lot of it didn't seem like it. It seemed like
No.
one crew.
Right.
I had to give him credit for that, I guess.
According to Greg Sestero, Tommy Wiseau intended the film to contain a subplot in which Johnny was revealed to be a vampire. Due to Wiseau's own fascination with the creatures, Sestero recounts how, at the outset of production, Wiseau tasked members of the crew with figuring out a way to execute a sequence in which Johnny's Mercedes-Benz would lift off from the roof of the townhouse and fly across the San Francisco skyline, revealing Johnny's vampiric nature. Wiseau eventually decided to drop the subplot after learning that there was no practical way to film the flying car scene on the production's budget.
I would just watch Birdemic. Of course they can do it.
Right.
Right, you can
Obviously,
do it.
he doesn't know anything about vampires. For somebody enthralled with vampires, he doesn't know shit about them.
It's already a better movie with that subplot. Like, add it back.
Yeah, because at least
Yeah.
it has an excuse for being horrible, right?
Yeah, the vampire stuff seems tacked on.
The film's editor tried to convince... Oh, wait. Nope. I already talked about that one. Sorry.
You'll cut that out.
Yeah.
And me saying you'll cut that out.
Right.
Cut that out, too.
Probably not. Entire scenes were out of focus because no one bothered to check the lens. So just shot.
Which means both cameras were out of focus.
Yeah.
Right.
It happens.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to our 4th and final round, which is overall.
Well, I love in the Birdemic opening credits that there is a credit for supporting cast, which is up there just as long as the long list of names. I thought that was nice. Wow, I mean, what more is there to say about these these things?
Shortest round ever.
It's like overall, I mean,
The music. Good talk about
Yeah,
the music.
yeah,
right?
we definitely.
I do like the 80s montage music from Birdemic.
Yeah.
There was like a whole 80s montage thing happening. And also that playful, almost sitcom sounding stock music in Birdemic.
Yes.
So I don't know if that stuff was composed for them or they just got it off of Pond 5 or something. But so musically, Birdemic wins.
Yeah, the horrible music in
Because the
room.
stop music.
The music in the room was horrible. Like, I don't know why, but I hate that song that's playing when Mark's doing Lisa on the stairs. Can you remember it?
No, that's the problem. It's not memorable.
Well, and the Everything Wrong With, they pointed it out because it sounds like the record skips while they were laying the track down onto it, because it says the same thing over and over again a couple times.
Oh, really?
Like
you
they
had-
needed more space.
You have the Room original soundtrack album on CD, don't you?
No, that's not. I wish I did.
Original score. There's two. Original
Right.
score and songs from and songs inspired by.
I liked. I don't know. I kind of like that original song that his buddy did. You know, that was in the first film.
In Birdemic?
Yeah.
The hanging with my family, whatever.
Hanging out.
You do remember? Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a nice.
Party.
Yeah, it was a nice. It was nice to revisit that from our.
Right, but I
past.
also kind of liked his new one. In the second one, I don't remember it right now, but I remember that I kind of liked it.
Yeah,
but it still didn't make me enjoy the movie anymore.
No, and that's another one of those scenes. That's like, well, it's an extended scene, and
Of
why
people
are we?
dancing.
Yeah, what are we doing? Well, how is this moving the plot forward? There's nothing's happening here. We're just dancing, and the girl's mom just randomly shows up and. Oh yeah, stays for dinner and goes dancing too. Yeah, it's like okay.
As soon as she mentions, "Oh, my mom's in town. Mind if she stops by?" That was her cue to come through the doorway.
Oh
Yeah. She was out there listening. Oh, it's my turn.
At least she doesn't have cancer.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
that's a perk.
Well, she just beat that
Yeah.
before she got there.
I think she got that wrapped up before the wedding.
Anything? I mean, do we have anything for overall for either of these films?
Well, I have one thing that I'd like to get your guys' opinion on. Is these movies are truly terrible, and we're sitting here talking about how bad they are. But that's the key. We're sitting here talking about them. They're absolutely miserable, but they got made.
yeah.
Somebody went out there and made them, and they did it. And I, me personally, I've made a few short films, but I've never gone so far as to make a feature-length film. So, who am I to be sitting here saying how bad these films are? And I'm just wondering what you guys think about, the effort that they went through to get these things made, in spite of how terrible they are.
Well,
I'll borrow
I
a
think
line
they should have
from-
saved the effort.
Yeah, I'll borrow a
Give
line
that
from
money to a real filmmaker.
Yeah.
like Jeff Goldblum
right.
says in Jurassic Park. They were too busy worrying about whether or not they should. They didn't think to think whether or not they could, or something like that. I fucked that up really badly.
You did, but we know. what you meant.
Turn to my Jurassic Park card. Sorry.
give it to me.
Okay, look, I'm a fixer. Okay, I like looking at problems and like how are we gonna fix this. And if I had some money and a couple months to kill, I would love to take one of these scripts and do what they did with the Raiders movie, like they make a fan
and
film.
remake it, yeah.
But I do it the other way around and like fix it and turn the Room into like a really good movie, or Birdemic into like a really good horror movie.
Right.
And keep as many of the elements as I can, which wouldn't be many, but make
The title.
Birdemic 2 and be like, wow, Birdemic, this is a really good Birdemic recut, and just like try and keep the script as close as you can, but fix the special effects, fix the acting, and just like rip it down to the studs and rebuild it and see what you could do. I think that would be
interesting to try.
I think that'd be so much fun.
Right.
All right, we're at the beach. Face the water, assholes.
Look.
Boom! The movie is already better. We got real jellyfish.
Now,
Actual fish made of jelly.
is that Raiders fan film? I've seen a lot about it, but I haven't actually seen it. Is it a shot for shot remake?
Shot remake, yeah.
And that's a little bit different too, because I mean, would we want to do a shot for shot remake of either of these two?
No,
movies?
but it would be a
Reimagined.
reimagining.
Yeah,
And just
I
I don't know, just pretty sure we could do a better job.
That's true.
Because the problems with both of these are so apparent and so obvious to spot, and just be like, yeah. As I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, I wouldn't have done that choice. I wouldn't have made that choice. I wouldn't have made that choice. So, but the problem is, you rip it down to the studs. I mean, what's left?
What's left?
You
Yeah,
know?
like
Is
I
there
said,
anything
the title.
worth building on? Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's
Well, maybe they did. Maybe that's the Brie Larson movie. Maybe that's what they did. They're like, all right, we'll start with a room, and she's stuck in it. All right.
well, and I mean, we could, that's kind of a good idea, is to take the script for films that were have these horrible ratings and try and do better, and just go with the script. Don't try to remake any of the shots, but view it how you would view it.
Yeah.
And then shoot it and get the actors that you
would have to find a movie with a
can.
good script that was just poorly made.
Right.
So, like Gladiator or something.
What? Wait, what?
I don't like Gladiator.
You don't like Gladiator?
Oh, I don't like Gladiator.
Oh.
But I don't like Russell Crowe, so.
How about the
Right.
porn version? Glad he ate her.
There you go. Got the bell.
We have the Room DVD here. Who released that? It almost looks like it's trying to be like a Columbia release. Is that just like someone?
I don't
The
know.
packaging for the Room DVD is better than the
with
Room
So
itself.
Films.
And the picture on the cover has nothing to do with the movie
Nope.
at all.
No,
Just,
it's his headshot.
Yeah.
I think. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
and
it's
he
his
never
headshot.
looks like that in the
No.
entire movie. He should be laughing.
Right.
We need that
Yeah.
shot of him doing the.
Yeah, didn't we hear something about that image was also on the billboard that was in LA for years
5
and years and
years.
years.
5
Yeah.
years.
And when people saw that, they thought it was a horror movie. They didn't know what
Yeah.
it was about, because he looks kind of, slightly deranged there. Because supposedly he's in mid-blink or something when they took that picture. which
Or
is which is always the picture you want to use, is
Right.
the one where you're halfway.
Well, I think he looks like that all the time.
Yeah, I
I think he's a squinter
yeah, what?
And a mouth breather.
and a mouth breather. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an
Well,
interesting choice.
going back to your question about making a feature, I mean that's one thing I would like to do, is make my own feature someday. But I know it's a Herculean task. I mean, I've been on 6, and it just takes that drive, and it takes that time. And I mean, I'll give it up to
that
them.
money.
They went out, and I don't know if Birdemic, if they really had shooting days, or if they're like, oh, hey, it's nice out, let's go out and shoot. And they just grab their handy cam.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Where, well, let's give Tommy a little bit of credit. I mean, they had a set built. The green screen on the roof, even though it was bothering the crap out of me with the vantage point, I still liked it. I mean, it looked clean in certain parts. It looked
And some of the tracking
pretty
was
good.
respectable.
Yeah.
$6
Yeah.
million.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The billboard alone, I didn't know about the billboard. That probably cost.
Oh, yeah.
He paid
couple $100,000
$5,000 a month. didn't he?
$5,000 a month for 5 years. So
Plus, he paid the whatever movie theater was around there to show his film.
Right.
So I don't know what that cost, but
You just rented out for the screening, unless it was like. For
well,
a
no,
week.
it was for an extended period of time.
Yeah, he just
So-
kept showing it and showing it. And showing
And
it.
then it kind of, my understanding is that it got kind of a little bit of a cult following. And so they would have these special screenings where people would go and treat it almost like, I can't. What's
Rocky
that?
Horror?
Yeah, Rocky Horror
Yeah.
Picture Show. Yeah.
Well, and I've had 3 chances to see this movie in a theater. Once was I was out of town. Another one, I was actually in Minnesota, and we were driving by the theater, and it said The Room tonight, 7 p.m., and we were going to see family. I'm like, ah. And the other one, once again, I was out of town, but I've been wanting to see it because I wanted to see what people were talking about. So it has become. It's not infamous for being good. It's infamous for being bad, and like people enjoy that. And so I wanted to see what made it so enjoyable. And I have to say, I enjoyed watching it. I liked watching The Room because there are parts that it's just like going back with Birdemic 2. Birdemic 2, like I said, it almost felt like they were trying to make a horrible movie. I mean, why would you put zombies and cavemen in a movie about birds attacking? I don't get it. That's
Why
small on the
wouldn't you?
list.
That's the real
right.
question.
Well, but it seemed like, they were actually trying to make a good film with The Room.
Kids love zombies.
Yeah, well, yeah. But, still, it felt like Tommy Wiseau was actually trying to make a good movie. So there's some of that heart in the film still.
Yeah.
Where Birdemic 2, it's just stupid shit. Like they were like, oh, it'd be great to happen on this time. Let's throw the cavemen walking down the street. And what? Why? There's no point in this. It felt like it got out of control. They were trying to go above what the first one was, and which most sequels try to do, but they were trying to go the opposite way. They were trying to make it even worse, in my opinion. So take that with a grain of salt.
And therefore it loses, as far as I'm concerned.
All right. If you guys don't have anything else to say, let's put it to a vote. Brian?
Overall,
Yep.
despite the copious amounts of money spent, the Room is the winner. Just because, like you said, there were there were real. Since there were 3, you said cinematographers who quit, which meant that there were actually some real people involved with that.
Right. And I think
production
that's
at
the
some
reason
point.
why it looks so good, is because, they had actual crew, a good gaffer to light it, a director of photography. And, sure, the actors were probably from commercials and stuff, but I mean, we've worked with plenty of those people, but I don't think Tommy Wiseau had.
Let's just say I've seen The Room 3 times and have always found it fun. I couldn't get through half of Birdemic 2 without falling asleep, at least twice. So,
Yep. All right.
The Room it is.
Gabe?
Yeah, because there are hints of actual filmmaking in it, I have to give it to The Room as well.
John?
Yeah, I'd have to go with The Room because, like, on Birdemic 2, I can watch a bad film if it has good audio, but the audio on that is just so terrible.
That's something we really didn't talk about.
No, we didn't.
How horrible the audio was on everything.
Yes, everything. And so it's like that right there pulls me out of a movie faster than anything else. Not, the bad CG and the bad acting and everything. It's the audio. And The Room at least had good audio, and it kind of reminded me of what a soap opera looks like, that kind of shot. So it's kind of like a soap opera-ish
It did look like
kind of thing. So I'd have to go with The Room, even though I'd never watch it again.
Right. Okay. Tom?
I'd be more inclined to watch Birdemic 2 than watch The Room. I thought Birdemic 2 was such a disaster. I mean, it was so incredibly bad from top to bottom. And that's why I would watch it. And The Room was... It had heart, and he tried to do it, and he failed miserably. And I'm giving this vote to The Room because The Room is better, but I'd watch Birdemic 2 because it was a better failure. I thought Birdemic 2 was a more entertaining failure. Like the stuff that went wrong in The Room is, I mean, it's, I don't know, it wasn't entertaining. I mean, bad writing and bad acting aren't as much fun to watch as Birdemic 2, where like everything is bad. I mean, it's just it was hysterical. Birdemic 2 was hysterical how bad it was. Whereas The Room it's funny, but I don't know. If I'm gonna watch a disaster, I mean,
watch a disaster.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go watch a blockbuster movie in the summer about one tornado that hits a small town. I'm gonna go watch the one that's got 17 tornadoes and Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt. So
Right. So are you voting for The Room on this?
I am
round?
voting for The Room. The Room
Okay.
is better.
All right.
But watchability, I'll give it to.
And The Room gives us
Birdemic.
catchphrases. Oh, hi, Mark. You're
Yeah.
tearing us
Yeah.
apart, Lisa. When you sent me the text about doing this, the first thing I texted you back was "You're tearing us apart, Lisa."
Yeah.
I can't think of one thing out of
Oh, they're dead.
Birdemic 2.
She's
They're dead. Okay,
dead.
she's dead.
She's dead.
They're dead.
They're dead. Everyone's dead.
Referring to
they say that
their
in the movie?
careers of the performers.
Now, are you saying though you like watching Birdemic 2 because you watch it and you think of ways that you can fix it?
I would like pure entertainment. Like the same reason I watch Con Air is like I'm not watching this because it's a great movie. I'm watching it because it's a bad movie and it's funny and it misses the mark. And I watch Birdemic 2 again because everything about it, from top to bottom, every single piece of that movie is crap. Every single one. And the fact that somehow that movie got from someone's brain to my eyes, that is, I will sit down and watch that.
And we're talking about it.
We're talking about it. We're doing a podcast. And there have been a lot of podcasts about this movie and a lot of riff tracks about this movie. And I think it's amazing. So, but I mean, the room is too, I think the room is curious because you kind of sit there and kind of squint at it and you're trying to figure out where did this thing go off the tracks. Mm-hmm. And it was early on. So.
Well, and I'm not going to say the name of the person I worked with or the name of the film, but at one time I was working on a zombie feature, and it has the feeling of where, people kept leaving, like the room, mm-hmm. and then the poor production, the just hurry up and get it doesn't matter of Birdemic 2. And I had actually gotten my hands on a copy of said film a few months ago and watched it, and I'm proud to say that a majority of the people that I brought on, we all left because we saw the direction it was going. And I watched it, and there's a part of me that really wants us to do it, but then again, I don't want to cause any problems within the community here in the state. But I can see some of those problems, where the director's just like, this is all I got, let's just shoot it here. Mm-hmm. And you got to shoot it. You don't have a choice. And or someone left and they have to green screen in the new actress into the shot, and you could still kind of see the old actress there. Or they have takes where the old actress's hands and everything are still in there because the actor cannot be brought back for those scenes. Like, it's at a certain point you got to say, okay, I'm done. This is never going to make it. Let's stop everything. Let's rethink things. Yeah. And Birdemic 2 felt like that. But where Tommy Wiseau was just able to throw money at it and say, well, here, just get me another one of these, get me another one of these. Birdemic 2, smaller budget, handy cam, and run around. I mean, there's something that all of us have done before like that. We've just held a small camera and we're just wanting to shoot something. But, I mean, these people actually had a fundraising page where they were raising money to make the film. And it's like, wouldn't you want to give those investors something a little bit better than what you gave them? Like, yeah, it just felt like Brian said that they were stealing shots the entire time.
Birdemic 2 would have been great if it were made by 12-year-olds at film camp.
Oh yeah.
If it was like a film camp thing and it was all a preteen cast, it would be amazing.
Right.
But
they just squandered the $20,000, where guaranteed if someone walked through that door right now and put a briefcase of with $20,000 in it, said, I want you guys to make a film,
we'd get hookers.
Damn good we'd get hookers and blow.
I'd call the police. But where did this money come from?
But if they said that, guaranteed we would do the best that we can with that. And it just didn't feel that way with Birdemic 2. They were just like, oh, let's just blow all this money and make a really crappy film.
And the more we talk about, I'm more suspicious of Birdemic 2 and its intentions. Mm-hmm.
I told you, once you think about it, you're like, maybe they were just trying to make a really bad movie.
I mean, maybe it's a money laundering outfit.
There you go. Yeah.
He didn't seem that bright. I don't know.
Maybe his favorite film is The Producers, and he's like, oh, I need to do that.
Yeah, you make more money with a failure than you could with a good movie. It gets more suspicious, and now I don't want to watch it now because I was just like, because all those bad decisions are like, oh, that was on purpose.
Yeah.
No, guys, away from the water, face away from the water. Trust me, it'd be hilarious.
Yeah, it kind of takes the heart out of it. Where the first Birdemic, it still had some heart in it, like they were trying to make a film. Where this one, they were just
So what do you do?
Consciously making the mistakes.
What do you do? I mean, the zombie movie, you walk off set,
Yeah.
But if you're in charge, if you're the producer or the executive producer, and you see this happening, do you bring the hammer down and you're like,
you've got to
stop spending money.
You've got to. You got to say
don't power
stop.
through. We're not going to try and fix this in
No.
post. We're going to stop right now.
Right.
We're going to fix our problems before we spend any more money.
Right, and
If we can't fix it, we're done.
And just like Tommy Wiseau, he wrote it, directed it, starred in it. This movie that I was discussing, the guy wrote it, directed it, and was starring in it.
He's listening.
So it was their baby,
Right.
type of thing.
Right.
And I always make the comment, like when we shoot films and stuff, like for the, especially for the 48, sometimes you have to kill your babies. If you love that shot, but it adds too much time or it doesn't really add to the film, you got to cut it.
Yeah.
And that's just something as a filmmaker, I believe you have to know. You have to say, okay, I've got to stop this. Things are out of control. Let's shut down. Let's regroup. Let's figure out where we're going wrong. Right? I mean, does that make sense? Am I the only one?
Sure is easy to say here a bunch of microphones. It's a
I
lot
know.
harder to say it when you got 20 people standing around looking at you.
I know.
So.
But I mean, I've done that before. I've done that with the Formula that I was on. We were trying to shoot a party scene, and things were getting out of control. And I finally looked at the director. I said, "We have to stop. We have to figure out what we're doing." And it was Joe. And Joe listened to me, and we stopped, and we talked to everyone. We told them, "Okay, you got to do this. You got to do this. You got to listen to us. You got to follow through," because people were just doing whatever. And it's like, no, you got to, be conscious of your movement and what you're saying. And we went and we shot it, and it worked great. So I mean, there's a certain times where you're allowed to do that, and I think you just need to know when to say that.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on to our recommendations for this month, which we will start with Gabe.
Well, I'm going to recommend another really disastrously terrible film that was on. What was
Phantom Menace?
That one was pretty bad too, but no. Sharknado. What was that on? Was that on Sci-Fi Channel? Yeah, it kind of falls into the same category but I think they were a little bit. Well, I like to think that maybe they were a little bit more conscious that they were doing a campy kind of terrible movie with really kind of, terrible visual effects and that kind of thing.
Well, compared to Birdemic, it's blockbuster special effects.
Oh yeah. And then I know for a fact that with Sharknado 2, they did amp it up another level and went over the top campy intentionally,
Right.
Because of the popularity.
Well, most of those films that Sci-Fi puts out, they're intentionally campy.
Yeah. It's almost like Birdemic was maybe made for that channel, because that's really the kind of stuff that you see on there.
Well, and I think
poorly
maybe
written, terrible visual effects, that kind of thing. And every once in a while, you just have the right combination of those things, and you strike gold, and you get something like Sharknado, where somehow people eat it up. They identify with it in some way, or it really strikes a chord with them. It's really entertaining to them, and then it takes off like that. Because how many types of movies like that have been made that didn't take off like Sharknado?
Right.
And it's really goofy and campy, but it's just a little bit of fun if you're kind of bored on a Saturday night or something.
All right, John.
My recommendation is Prophecy, the monster movie. It came out in 1979. It's a bad horror film. It's about the logging waste. I think it's Alaska or somewhere.
Uh-huh.
And this waste material kind of mutates this bear, and it becomes like a giant skinless bear that attacks people. It's
Man Bear Pig.
Scared the crap out of me when I was a kid.
So this isn't the Christopher Walken one, right?
No, this is not.
Okay.
This is earlier. This came out in 1979.
Okay.
So, but it's worth a watch.
All right, Tom.
I am going to go with the Willard Hake classic film Howard the Duck.
Uh-huh.
So, you go and you write American Graffiti for George Lucas, and then Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which is the best one. Everybody agrees on that. What do you do to follow it up? You do you go dig into Marvel's archives and do Howard the Duck, which is not as bad as people think. Look back on it. So one of my favorite things about Howard the Duck is at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy when they stuck the Howard the Duck post-credit scene on the end, and just a middle finger to everybody. And I was like, you know what? When we started this, when Marvel started making movies, this is what we started with. We started with Howard the Duck, and now look what we're doing. And I think it's loaded with flaws, and it's pretty close to unwatchable. But to see what Marvel has built on out of their comics compared to DC, I think.
Don't make me start going on Batman v Superman.
I personally like Howard the Duck, and it came out at a time when I didn't know anything about movies,
right.
And this was a kind of a badass duck. So it's a favorite one from my childhood. So
aren't there duck nipples in it?
I think there are duck nipples in it. Yep. And Jeffrey Jones unfortunately is in it as well, and I can't really watch anything with him in it anymore. So don't go see Howard the Duck. I just wanted to mention it. Remember Howard the Duck? That was cool. All right, moving on.
So wait, Jeffrey Jones was the principal in Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yes.
Yeah, because he's in Deadwood, which I've been watching.
Yeah.
But he's like a convicted child molester?
Child pornographer, I believe is the phrase, Michael.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if TV makes or consumes, but either way,
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
awkward.
So.
Leah Thompson was in it too, so.
She was.
Yeah.
She was.
Yeah.
And she had a good run,
Yeah.
I gotta say. So it's not completely unwatchable, but you should probably avoid it.
I still enjoy Howard the Duck too.
So
Brian?
I'm going with the granddaddy of all bad movies, Plan 9 from Outer Space. This is the birth of bad movies. Speaking of Jeffrey Jones, he played in Ed Wood, which is a great Tim Burton film about the making of Plan 9 from Outer Space, and he was the guy who played the narrator of it. So it all ties in. But Plan 9 from Outer Space is it just, if you don't know the history of that film, and well, certainly watch Ed Wood, which is amazing. But it's like he just had a bunch of stock footage and outtakes from other movies, and he figured out ways, and he managed to film Bela Lugosi before he died, and they worked that in. If anybody listening to this is anywhere near Chicago in January, there's the 24-hour B-movie marathon called B-Fest in Chicago. Highly recommended. They show Plan 9 from Outer Space every year at midnight, and they have for like 20-something years. And all the movies that we've discussed tonight and everything else that we've mentioned has been, except for Sharknado, has been at B-Fest.
Nice.
So,
yeah, Plan 9 I've only seen bits and pieces of, but I've watched all of Ed Wood.
well, I would love a Plan 9 robot monster Smackdown someday.
Yeah, there you go. Might have to go on the list. Or was that Manos Hands of Fate? Manos Hand of Fate or
Dude,
something?
we just did Birdemic 2 and The
I know,
Room.
we'll wait.
Like
Calm down.
2018.
Calm down.
I'm not doing this again until like I want all my children in school.
Okay. All right.
They did not like either of these
They
movies.
didn't.
No.
I don't blame them.
Did
No.
they watch them with you?
Yeah, they did. The 3-year-old
All the way
was
through?
very put off. And he said, I don't understand your fascination. Why are you watching this, Father? And I said, well, Grover, I'm sorry, but this is what Dad does for work. And he goes, you do that for work? And I'm like, hey, calm down there, Tiger. It got out of control quickly.
Wait, are they getting paid for this?
No.
Dang it! That was the scam I've been running on my wife for the last 6 years, that this was part of my job. Amazon DVDs showing up.
Yeah.
Mike wants suggestions. I'm like, you know what? I don't own The Untouchables. Let's do The Untouchables.
All right, so my suggestion is a good documentary about bad films. And I know it's on Netflix. It's Electric Boogaloo, The Wild Untold Story of Canon Films. And they put out Superman 4. They put out, the Death Wish films. They put out He-Man and Masters of the Universe movie with Dolph Lundgren. And it's just a great documentary about two guys making bad films. And they actually had a couple like slight hits, you know. And but yeah, I would recommend it. It's directed by Mark Hartley, and of course it stars Sam Furstenberg, David Polson, and Luigi Cozzi. I think, if I remember correctly, I watched it last winter, and I believe they're both Italians. They're Italian brothers that came over to the United States, bought Canon Films, and just started buying all these films and putting them out. Kind of like a reverse Miramax, if you will. All right. So we had a contest this month.
We did have a contest.
Go ahead, Tom. Take it over.
All right. From the 730 entries that we had, want to congratulate Kyle Fine, who happened to be a former panelist on our show. What are the odds? Those numbers might not be right. But Kyle correctly identified all 9 crappy movies in our little Facebook post.
What were they?
What were the crappy movies?
Yeah. Do you remember? Am I putting you on the spot? No? Okay. Just flip me the bird.
Ass face? I don't know. There was a soccer one.
Yeah.
Shut up.
All
So
right.
anyway, congratulations to Kyle. He won a copy of The Room, so now he can enjoy it just as we have. So,
And Kyle, I can verify that this is real. I'm looking at it right now. I'm touching it.
it's sealed in plastic, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it hasn't
brand
been
new,
watched.
unopened.
Now, is that the extended cut director's DVD?
I don't know.
This has 3 extra hours of sex scene.
Which is impressive because I only shot 6 minutes. So.
It's just the same. It
It's
just
the same thing.
repeats.
Yeah, he just throws it. He throws it in reverse.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's real, Kyle. You can be excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of jealous. But
There's
Amanda
probably-
texts me, and she texts me the whole list, and she goes, "Am I right?" And I was looking through. I'm like, "Holy crap, you might be right." She's like, "Oh wait, nope, I'm married to you. I can't."
Conflict of interest.
And then Kyle, popped in with his correct list. So, yeah, congratulations, Kyle. We also have a little bit of listener feedback. This one is from Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith?
Not the
No.
Kevin Smith.
Let's go with it.
Yeah. Hey, Cinesmack guys, been listening to you for a few months now. I can't get enough of you guys. I love everything the show has to offer. You guys are fun to listen to with the insight in the movies that you are talking about. When I'm listening to your show, I find more things out about the films that I didn't know. Your guys' humor is great for the show. All you feed off each other makes the show really great. Let's see. I'm trying to read this. What else?
Is this a paid testimony?
No.
Sorry, the room's going to somebody else.
I like it when you guys don't like
I'll
a
buy
film that you let the listeners know why you hated it. And he also comes out. It's actually kind of a long email. He says, my favorite episode was Superman versus Batman. I really enjoyed listening to that one, but I didn't like the outcome. I thought Batman was the better movie. I never got the first Superman movie. When I was a kid, I thought it was kind of boring, maybe because you have to watch about half of it in order to see Superman. But that's why I liked Batman, because you see Batman in the first few minutes. I related more to Superman 2, and over the first one, everyone tells me I need to watch the Richard Donner cut of Superman. No, that'd be Superman 2. He has down here Superman 1. I should watch the DC, the first Superman, like better Batman. Okay, I have some bouts that maybe sometime down the road you guys could put into the ring. Here they are. The Outsiders versus the Warriors. The Raid Redemption versus Dread. The Hangover versus Bachelor Party, which I believe that's actually on our list. Dark Crystal versus The Neverending Story,
Yeah.
which I thought was pretty good. Gross Point Blank versus Romy and Michelle's high school reunion. Drive versus Bullet, which I would totally be up for. Bullet's like one of my favorite movies. Let's Be Cops versus Police Academy. Man on Fire. I love Man on Fire. I love Denzel Washington. And I never thought of this, and I hate myself because I never thought of it. Man on Fire versus Leon the Professional. That's actually a pretty good matchup.
Yeah.
Run Lola Run versus Sliding Doors, and Clue versus Murder by Death.
I don't know sliding
Ooh,
doors.
I don't know
Clue versus
sliding
Murder
doors.
by Death would be fun.
Yeah, it would. That
Murder
would
by
be a
Death
lot
is
of fun.
freaking hysterical.
Those
I
are
do
the
love
ones.
Clue.
Those are the ones I can think off my head. Keep up the good work. If you guys ever need someone to be on the show, I would love to be there. Your friend, Kevin W. Smith. So there you go. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
You
thank
wrote us a really long email, which, this is not a paid testimony, but I have to say 3/4 of it is him harping praise on us. So that's why I skipped
We'll
down
take
to
it.
the whole Superman Batman thing.
That's what we do this for.
Yeah. Well, good.
Boost our
Thank you,
egos.
Kevin. Yeah, really enjoyed that.
And money. We do it for money, too.
Yeah, we do it for the
Right,
money.
yeah,
We do it for
all
the
that money.
That's right. Yeah,
All that money.
Unless
all
you're the
that
IRS, then you don't
internet
get
money.
paid.
Autographs are for sale.
All right, let's poke the monkey. Find out who won.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Did anyone make it through those movies? Wake up! Your winner by decision is The Room!
Where can people find you, hunt you down, say oh hi?
Oh hi. Say oh hi to me on Facebook, and you can check out onegenomeshort.com. And I'm proud to say that it's finally got a facelift. You can see all of our 48-hour films on there, and get just a little bit of information about the team. It's still a work in progress, but it's actually something to look at now.
Nice.
You can catch me on Facebook and then on YouTube and Twitter under Blue Wizard, BLUWYZARD.
All right, thanks, John. Thanks for coming in and being with
Oh,
us.
my pleasure.
Thank you.
It's fun.
Tom.
Facebook, Vimeo, my websites. When I'm not at Denny's, I'm at my studio in Ames. People can usually find me up on the roof confronting what drug dealers I've ripped off.
Or playing football in the park while
Or playing
running.
football
In a tuxedo.
tuxedo. Or creepily trying to get into my foster brother's pants. So
Yeah.
leave you with that. That's my Denny's Grand Slam for you.
All right. Brian.
On Facebook, I have a Johnson brand editing page if you want to see some of the fun, wacky stuff I've participated in over the years.
And then anything about who you do full-time editing for?
Oh, at Red Noise 6,
There you go.
our friend Adam Carney, who graciously provided the space for us today.
Yeah, we are all, like I said earlier at the beginning of the show, we're all actually sitting in the room, but we're actually at Red Noise 6 recording this. It's a nice space. So thanks to Adam for letting us use it. And
I don't think he knows.
No, he probably doesn't.
Now he does.
Now he does. Brian, thanks for joining us.
Glad to be
John,
here.
thanks for joining us. And we would appreciate it, just like Kevin did, if you could leave us a review on iTunes or whatever podcasting service you use. And you can contact us, just like Kevin did, at cinesmack@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Just search Cinesmack. For August, we get animated to find out if knowing is half the battle or if we are more than meets the eye. It's the old school animated features, Transformers versus G.I. Joe. For Tom, Gabe, John, Brian, and myself, thanks for listening, and go catch a flick.
Oh, bye.
Oh, bye, Mike.
You are tearing me apart, Lisa. You are tearing me apart, Lisa. You are tearing me apart, Lisa. Me apart. Me apart. You are tearing me apart, Lisa. You are tearing me apart, Lisa. You are tearing me apart, Lisa. Me apart. Me apart. Oh, hi, Mark.
This has been a test of the Southsider Studios podcast system. This was only a test. If this were a true lack of entertainment, your head would explode. Go to iTunes and subscribe to our feed. Just search Southsider Studios.